What's going on? Sometimes we get into conversations that we don't prepare for. So today we're going to talk about your conversations. After the intro, let's get it.
You have one life. You got a calling and a purpose. Welcome to the Witness to Power podcast, the show that encourages and inspires you to be who God has called you to be. I'm your host and digital evangelist, Ashley Sims.
What's going on, everybody? Everything is well with you guys, and we're just going to be kind of brief today. And I just want to talk about something because over the last several days I've had conversations with people, and I just began to just play them back in my mind just to see how I could always improve what I'm saying to make it more clear. You know, clarity is a good thing, and I know we can't always control what people hear, but we can control what we say and how we say it and the rhythm that we say it. You know, I got one scripture here. It's Colossians 4:6. It said, "Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how you ought to answer every man." Because sometimes we're in the heat and our passions come out, and we know what we're saying. We know what we're trying to say. I know if you've been in a conversation one time and people just looking at you like you have something on your shirt. Because I had several conversations and they all were great. It's just that when I was trying to recall one I had, I couldn't recall the most of it because we talked about some in-depth stuff. And this first conversation, it wasn't about something spiritual. It was just giving somebody's instructions. And I thought to myself, man, you could be more brief, if you will, if you know what I mean. Because when I tried to rehearse what I said, I couldn't remember it. Because I was talking about something and somebody asked me a question about a situation, because it was a situation that went down, and I was explaining to the person how this goes and how this situation is handled. It's kind of like, you ever been in a job interview? They got this thing called STAR, situation, task, action, and result, because they give you behavioral based interview questions. And I was getting to thinking, I was like, man, I could have handled this situation that way too. You know, I could have basically said, this is a situation, this is how it really goes down, and this is how you should take action, and you should get this result. Because sometimes simplified is better than the complex. And so I was just thinking about that, and I'm talking to you guys. Just sometimes your conversations just need to be simple. It just what I'm trying to get in this podcast today, and I hope this helps somebody. It is a good thing to go back and replay and rehearse the things you say, even if they're spiritual. So, and then if you get in a conversation that's not exactly talking about God, just understand, like the scripture said, let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that you may know how to answer every man. So we got to be patient and kind and have mercy and understand that everybody doesn't know what you're talking about. And yet some people have been taught differently. And then, because if you're having a conversation with somebody who is been in the faith or weak in their faith or just come into the faith, and they have certain beliefs because of their feelings, have grace and mercy with them. And then when you answer them, don't be so abrupt. Give them something that they can grow on and know, so that they can understand the situation or the process that you're coming from. Because you may look at the process the way God sees it, and they look at the process the way how they feel about it, because they think it's nothing wrong. And so that way, when they bring up the scriptures, you're not like making them feel small. You bring in understanding, bring in love, so that they can walk in wisdom. I just want you guys to be mindful of the conversations you have, because the other person may not be there yet. And that's all I have to say today. Just be loving, be merciful, and be forgiving. And I believe that you will end up winning a brother or a sister to the Lord. Because there's been some conversations that I've been in. I just sit back and let them say what they say, and I prayed, and the Lord gave me a good answer. Because in my own self, I'm like, yo, this is totally out there. This is far-fetched. Cut it. But I didn't, because this soul needs to hear from the Spirit of the Lord and not me. That's all I have today. You guys be blessed in the Lord, and I'll speak to you again. Reach one, reach many, be blessed. Until the next time, have an awesome week. Thanks again for listening to this podcast. We appreciate you. Appreciate each and every one of you that you would, wherever you listen to this podcast, download, subscribe, leave comments, share it with your friends, family, co-workers. We need to get this word out. Thanks. Be blessed.
Have you ever felt that you've not lived up to your full potential? Or maybe you felt that you have no idea what you truly want out of life, but you feel you can do more than what you're doing now. Then I have the book for you, 21 Steps to Walk in Purpose, to help you shake off the stagnation and fogginess into doing your purpose. Go to walkinpurposenow.com. Yes, that's walkinpurposenow.com and grab your copy today and walk in the purpose that you know is designed for you. Remember, I believe in you. So go and grab your copy of 21 Steps to Walk in Purpose and live the purpose that I know you have within you to live.
Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Witness to Power Podcast. Don't forget to check us out at www.witnesstopowerpodcast.com. And also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. And be sure to check out the Witness to Power fan page on Facebook. Have a great week.